Welcome, one and all, to the future of news. Bitcoin is here now when the dollar is through. Start stacking those sats and make it habitual. We all deserve to be sovereign individuals. Time to hear from Sean and get our fix of the day. Get on the standard now because
this is the way.
We were meant for this moment since the day we were born. Now sit back and enjoy. It's good day, Bitcoin.
You have been vindicated. Bitcoin is pumped. Welcome back to October. $66,000 Bitcoin today. Larry Fink is calling for a 5 million Bitcoin price by 2040. While we have major bank blackouts here in Australia, China is set to unleash another 6 trillion yuan in stimmy. Germany, they've been declared in a recession. BlackRock states Bitcoin will be bigger than the $50 trillion US housing market. And then we have Robert Kiyosaki predicting that everything crash. Bitcoin's going to go back down to $5,000. It's bullish, it's bearish. Let's dive straight into it. Bitcoin is pumping today. Mario, China plans to raise 6 trillion yuan for economic stimulus. China is considering raising 6 trillion yuan through ultra-long special treasury bonds over 3 years to boost its slowing economy, according to sources. The funds, they'll help local governments resolve off-the-book debts. The Ministry of Finance recently pledged to address local debt pressures, but did not specify the exact amount. This plan is part of China's broader fiscal stimmy strategy aimed at stabilizing the economy, according to Kaizen. Now, Germany, they are in a recession. This is according to a Bloomberg survey there. The whole world's not looking that great. But Justin, Bitcoin will become as big as the entire US housing market, says BlackRock Larry Fink, CEO. For reference, Bitcoin's market cap currently at 1.3 trillion, while the US housing market is north of $50 trillion. We're going to dive into this one further. Fred, Bitcoin will become as big as the US housing market. Larry Fink, that market is currently $50 trillion. Let's assume 100 trillion by 2040. That is a 76x Bitcoin's $1.3 trillion market caps. In other words, Bitcoin is going to $5 million. Source, the most important person in finance on planet Earth. Let's get it. So the world's largest asset manager, Larry Fink. Bitcoin is an asset class all by itself. It's a 30-second clip. We'll come back and we'll play it from the start.
Either president or other candidate would make a difference. I do believe the utilization of digital assets are going to become more and more of a reality worldwide. Conversations we're having with institutions worldwide, conversations about how should they think about digital assets, what type of asset allocation there should be. I mean, we believe Bitcoin is an asset class in itself. It is an alternative to other commodities like gold. Well, first, I'm not sure.
Let's hit pause there. Larry Fink, the most important person in finance in the entire world. We believe that Bitcoin is an asset class all by itself, and Bitcoin's pumping today. We're at 65,822. We broke above 66,000. We'll dive into that shortly, a bit more from BlackRock Larry Fink. But over here in Australia, millions of Aussie bank customers have been locked out of their accounts as a major blackout hit the servers, sending spenders into panic mode. Was it last week or the week before? There was a test over in the US. I don't know if there's a test or not, but the banking system going down. We've been warning about this since late last year. The top 4 banks here in Australia said they could be subject to cybersecurity attacks, and the timing of it, I thought maybe September, but October. It has happened. There's a couple of weeks out with that. It's pretty interesting, the timing of it. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. Now, Fred Kruger, back to the signal. For those of us who have been in Bitcoin for a while and who have a substantial position, this is the last bull run that matters. Totally agree. Get into Bitcoin, buy, stack, and chill for the next 4 years, and then live a happy, peaceful life. Back to BlackRock. Larry Fink on what's really driving Bitcoin. I truly don't believe it's a function of regulation. Larry Fink said Bitcoin set to soar no matter who's in the Oval Office. Unlike other pundits who suggest the $1.2 trillion asset growth is a function of regulations, BlackRock CEO believes growth will arise from enhanced analytics and more acceptance by investors. I'm not sure if either president would make a difference, said Fink during the company's third quarter earnings call with analysts. I truly don't believe it's a function of regulation. It's a function of liquidity and transparency. Years ago, when we started the mortgage market. Years ago, when the high yield market occurred, it started off very slow. While Fink didn't elaborate on which mortgage venture he was referring to, implied that crypto is similar to other financial products that tend to stall until they reach scale. For example, BlackRock more than a decade ago noted constrained demand during a housing slump as it explored distressed mortgage assets. Excuse me. So, since the $11.5 trillion asset manager launched its spot Bitcoin ETF fund in January, the ETF has amassed billions in investment, broken record after record for volume traded. Fink said on the call, the fund manager's Bitcoin ETF has soared to a whopping $23 billion in its first 9 months, and we will continue to pioneer new products to make investing easier and more affordable. At the same time, BlackRock's bullish Bitcoin marketing campaign has been put into overdrive. In a September investor note that echoed the heady views of laser-eyed maximalist BlackRock analysts compared Bitcoin to gold and touted its performance during acute geopolitical crisis. To be sure, Fink doesn't put this year's hotly contested elections in the US in this category. His comments echo those of Standard Chartered. The UK bank predicts that Bitcoin will hit $200,000 in 2025, regardless of whether Donald Trump or Kamala Harris wins the US presidential election on November 5. It's not very far away, 3 weeks? This is a key change from just a few months ago when many in the crypto industry sided with the Republican nominee. In Trump, they saw an end to Joe Biden's administration crackdown on digital assets. Bitcoin is going to be a story that's going to continue to keep unfolding for the rest of our lives. We were at 66,018 this morning. Let me hit refresh. We're just under 65,830, but Bitcoin is doing what Bitcoin does, going up and to the right. Slowly, then suddenly. I think we made it. I think we're out. We had to get above 64,000. I said if we can get above 64 with conviction straight to 69, well, we got above 64,000 with conviction. Do we come back down? Is 58K still in play? Wouldn't rule anything out, but the higher we stay above 64,000, the less likely to return back to levels not seen since last week. A low of 62,000 in the last 24 hours, a high of 66,173 in the past 24 hours. $4,000 spread there. Remember, until we have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 days to the upside, to the downside, it's absolutely nothing. Please be prepared for that. Hopefully you got your moon bag and maybe a little bit of dry powder on the side if it happens. Now, this gentleman, he's the CIO of the Motley Fool. I'm sure you've heard of that magazine online publishing. We got into a bit of a debate yesterday in regards to Bitcoin. Scott will be coming on Friday. So if you haven't already, and we vibe, hit subscribe. This should be a really good banter. But this is the question on the AFR homepage. The answer. So the question, where to invest 10,000 for 2, 5, 10, and 20 years. 2 years cash, only cash, just cash. I jumped in there and said 2 years, go into Bitcoin, mate. Anyway, 5, 10, and 20 years, a small selection of ultra low cost index-based ETFs and or a diversified portfolio, well-chosen quality ASX and US shares. Obviously, went on for about an hour yesterday, sending the orange signal. And then we finished the evening with this. We all get Bitcoin at the price we deserve, right? Looking forward to the chat. So make sure you have hit subscribe, notification bell. We will be going live on Friday. Scott is saying this is starting to seem like an intervention. My broader Bitcoin views for viewers in advance of our chat. He is looking forward to it. So I will hit repost on that at Sean Clark, SEANCLARKE 911, and you can check it out. But the CIO of the Motley Fool, it's going to be an interesting conversation, that's for sure. And yes, Scott, you do get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Now, the Bitcoin way, chime in, because Bitcoin has absolutely pumped today. Everyone's getting very excited. Maybe a couple of people are feeling a little bit of moisture. Anyway, we all enjoy our purchasing power increasing when Bitcoin pumps. Just don't effing dance. What's coming won't be pretty for a lot of innocent people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth there. We have Greg Foss talking about the US being in a debt spiral. He believes it's 100% factual and it's due to math, which is good for people holding hard assets. For everyone in Bitcoin, well done, you've made it. For people that aren't holding hard assets like Bitcoin, you're absolutely screwed, and it's going to get a whole lot a lot worse. All we can do is send the signal, allow people to know that there is a better way. There is something they can opt out into today, which is Bitcoin protects that purchasing power, but it's not going to be fun for a lot of people. Unfortunately, if you need help, if your Bitcoin's on the exchange, please reach out to the Bitcoin Way today. Best thing, the first 30 minutes is complimentary. It is free. The team have 25 years cybersecurity experience. Best thing, they'll never touch your keys or they'll never touch your coins. They'll just guide you through the process to become a wizard at self-custody, to be able to protect that stack, to be a sovereign free individual, to run your own node, to run an air-gapped wallet. You can go into inheritance planning, multi-sig, and so much more. If your Bitcoin's on the exchange, please get it off or just go through and get a health check. But link at the top of the description. Shout out to the Bitcoin Way channel partner. Now, German publicly traded company Samara AG to issue £30 million in bonds to buy Bitcoin and stake in funds. Now, I have reached out to Patrick here, and we are organising to come on for a live show as well. Another good reason. We've got some good guests lined up coming on to the show, talking to Sean Harris as well. We're lining that up. Everyone's coming for Bitcoin. Huge amount of money is being deployed into Bitcoin, £30 million in bonds to buy Bitcoin and stake in funds. They've been holding Bitcoin for a long time. Samara AG, we've hodled for years now, increasing our Bitcoin treasury and investing in disruptive tech through top managers and builders. Not sure it's possible, but it'd be a dream to stack as much as Sailor. People are waking up to the Sailor book and they are chasing it hard. Now, NYDIG, Bitcoin's price return stands apart from the crowd. This is NYDIG. Bitcoin stands out for its returns when compared with other assets, despite its volatility. And yes, just because Bitcoin is one of the, if not the most volatile asset on the face of the planet over time, does not mean it's risky. I would say it's the least risky asset of everything. No counterparty risk when it's held in self-custody. Can't make any more of it. There's no CEO in charge. Bitcoin is the best performing asset for returns despite its volatility, according to the New York digital investment group, NYDIG. In an analysis published October 11, Greg, global head of research at NYDIG, said Bitcoin stands apart from the crowd for its returns and compared it to other asset classes using the Sharpe ratio. The ratio is used in finance to elevate the performance of an asset relative to its risk. Specifically, it calculates the ratio of excess returns to the volatility of those returns, with a higher Sharpe ratio indicating better risk-adjusted performance. I believe his name is Greg. I'm going to mispronounce that last name. Provided Sharpe ratios of all other asset classes, including equities and bonds over different holding periods, using monthly total returns to create rolling Sharpe ratios, compromising the most recent reading. So Bitcoin, it ranks favorably compared to nearly every asset class on every metric over every time frame, he concluded from the data. He noted that gold had a slightly higher Sharpe ratio over the past 12 months, but said this too was so close as like splitting hairs. That analyst shows the contrary, that the risk, the price volatility that Bitcoin investors endure are more than made up for in terms of returns. So if you've been buying, if you've been stacking, if you've been chilling for the last 6 months, this chop solidation, well done. If you've been here for longer than that, welcome. If you're new to the show, if you're new to Bitcoin, you've come at such a crazy time. The volatility up, down, sideways, it's about to go through the roof. Hold on. There's a saying, hodl, hold on for dear life. It makes sense, because things are about to go absolutely parabolic. BlackRock CEO, digitizing the dollar, reveals his plans for AI-powered crypto that's predicted to blow up the price of Bitcoin and shitcoins there. So Bitcoin's rally has stalled in recent months after the price rocketed in 2024, though one Wall Street giant has quietly predicted it's about to soar. Bitcoin price has fallen back from a 2024 all-time high of over 70,000 per Bitcoin, reached on a tidal wave of interest in BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF, with their 11 trillion asset manager executive Larry Fink issuing a crazy Federal Reserve warning last week. What was that warning? The banks are not safe. Get out now. No, that's in my own words, but pretty much sums it up. Now, as MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor reveals his $100 trillion endgame, Fink has outlined his plans for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto, predicting digitizing the dollar is going to be under discussion. Larry Fink. We believe Bitcoin is an asset class in itself. It's an alternative to other commodities like gold. Fink, who late last year led the charge on Wall Street to bring a fully fledged spot Bitcoin ETF to US markets, said during BlackRock's third quarter earnings call, predicting Bitcoin, ETH, and crypto will overlay with AI. When major players like BlackRock and Fidelity launch Bitcoin ETFs and begin selling that idea to the institutional and individual investors, I think is very positive. This is Anthony Scaramucci, the founder of hedge fund Skybridge Capital, said in an interview with investment platform Saxo, putting his Bitcoin price target 170,000. The arrival of a fleet arrived of spot Bitcoin ETFs on Wall Street this year was the first step in what Fink branded a digital revolution when he revealed his crypto ambitions for BlackRock last year, which includes a radical new blockchain-based alternative to the US dollar. Is Fink predicting the end of the dollar? It sure sounds like it. Now, something very interesting, quite a few people have spotted. If you Google Bitcoin, it doesn't show you the Bitcoin price chart anymore. It doesn't do it in Australia. It doesn't do it in the US. It's pretty interesting. I wonder why Google have removed it. I wonder if you do it for gold, if the price is there. There's no price for gold either, but it used to show the Bitcoin price at the top. Little bit interesting. Can anyone else see the Bitcoin price chart this morning? Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki is predicting that everything crash. Bitcoin may drop to $5,000 amid a market collapse. It's possible. The probability, it's pretty unlikely. But if it does happen, maybe a little bit of dry powder just on the side for that moonshot, for it to get down to $5,000. Fuck, just imagine. If only. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. I very much doubt that's going to happen, though. Robert Kiyosaki predicts that everything crash. Bitcoin may drop to $5,000 amid a market collapse. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, predicted a catastrophic stock market crash and the collapse of the everything bubble, warning that gold, silver, and Bitcoin will nosedive, triggering a global depression. He urges investors to brace for financial turmoil. It's a good mindset to have, for sure. Saying only the prepared will emerge wealthier from the ruins. Take Bitcoin, for example. It may crash to $5,000 a coin, then boom to $100,000 to 250 and higher, he noted. Everything crash loom. Robert, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, shared his insights in the US economy, gold, Bitcoin, and market trends on social media platform X on Saturday. His book, it's been, we know about the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, read the books or eat the bugs. He pointed to gold's all-time high price, but caution, unfortunately, high gold prices generally mean investors becoming pessimistic. Many investors shift out of stocks and start buying defensive assets, so higher gold prices are not necessarily a good sign. Kiyosaki expects a significant stock market crash, declaring, if a major stock market crash occurs, which I'm expecting because the stock market has been high for too many years, this is not good news for people who don't own gold, silver, and Bitcoin. He opined. The claimed author then encouraged people to prepare by studying joint investment clubs and watching for post-crash bargains. Then in a few years, when another bull market rises, you'll be one of the richest, smarter investors he foresees. I don't disagree that we should be prepared. Do I think that's going to happen in the next couple of months? Probably not. I think they're going to inject so much liquidity, but we will come up into whatever parabolic bubble. Maybe it's 100, maybe it's $250,000 before coming down. Maybe we get $5,000 first. Either way, I'm prepared, but I think the probability is fairly unlikely there. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Is Robert Kiyosaki $5,000 in play or anytime soon? Is it a possibility? $5,000, it's pretty hard to picture that with Bitcoin again. Now, the banks, TD Banks money laundering conspiracy charge, they handle $18.3 trillion of user funds. They're fined $13 billion. Samurai Wallets money laundering conspiracy charge, they handle $0 of user funds, drones, armored vehicles, pre-dawn raids, devs indicted, servers seized, facing 25-year sentences. F this dystopia. Absolutely insane. We'll bring this video up. So TD Bank fined $3 billion for enabling drug cartel money laundering, the largest penalty of its kind in US history. And they rail against Bitcoin, especially Larry Fink, because it's used for terrorism, money laundering, drug dealing,
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, I want to extend my sympathy to the millions of Americans who have had their lives turned upside down by Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene. I know I speak for all of us in expressing my gratitude to the first responders on the ground who are carrying out rescue missions.
Good job.
And I want to thank all the volunteers who are helping their neighbors get through these storms. And now to the subject of today's announcement. Today, TD Bank pled guilty to multiple felonies, including conspiring to violate the Bank Secrecy Act and commit money laundering. TD Bank has also agreed to a $1.8 billion criminal penalty. Combined with civil enforcement actions announced today by other agencies, the United States will be imposing a total of approximately $3 billion against TD Bank. TD Bank created an environment that allowed financial crime to flourish. By making its services convenient for criminals, it became one. Today, TD Bank became the largest bank in U.S. history to plead guilty to Bank Secrecy Act program failures and the first bank in history to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit money laundering. This is also the largest ever penalty under the Bank Secrecy Act and the first time the Justice Department has assessed a daily fine against a bank. As part of the plea agreement, TD Bank will fundamentally restructure its corporate compliant program at its U.S.-based bank, which is the 10th largest in the United States. The bank has also agreed to the imposition of a 3-year monitorship and a 5-year term of probation. While the bank has started its remediation, it will continue to remediate and improve its anti-money laundering compliance program to ensure that the bank operates lawfully and safely moving forward.
If that was Silvergate Bank or a bank tied up with Bitcoin, they just would have shut it down. But because it's the 10th largest bank and it's with the old incumbents, they're looking after it. They're protecting it, a little slap on the wrist. It's disgusting behavior. But it hopefully kills a little bit of the FUD in regards to Bitcoin being used for money laundering. Well done, TD Bank. You are straight to jail. Dear Britain, get ready to start hearing this being discussed more and more. The UK government's introduced electricity rationing as part of West's net zero agenda. It says it's fact-checked. Not 100% sure if it is or not, but I think this is coming to Australia anyway. That's going really hardcore with the West net zero agenda, renewable energy, solar, wind. And maybe it's designed not to be effective. We know it's not effective. They can't build out the capacity big enough for it to work in a cost-effective way. They can put solar panels and wind farms absolutely everywhere. That's fine, but for it to bring down electricity costs and be reliable, it's not happening. But I wonder if this is to fund Bill Gates' nuclear. And I saw that Google just bought a whole lot of nuclear reactors as well today when I was doing some research this morning. And then I just want to bring up a couple of the crazy things around the world that are going on. When we have Bitcoin, we can stand apart. We can be a little bit disconnected from it, and that's good. Make our own decisions and not be subject to government propaganda. Here we go again. Respect Australia, national mate. With the arrival of a deadly bird flu in Australia deemed unavoidable, the federal government has announced almost $100 million to prepare and protect the country. While Australia is the only continent free of the H5N1 strain of avian influenzas, farmers have been warned to prepare for its arrival. Federal government has allocated an additional $95 million to prepare for bird flu, which has caused respiratory illness, a reduction in egg production, sudden death among wild birds and some mammal species in other countries. Known as highly pathogenic avian influenza, bird flu primarily affects animals. However, of the 900 human infections recorded across the globe, more than half were fatal, World Health Organization says. How alarming when things are coming out of the World Health Organization. And just a bit of a side note, I started calling that we'd get bird flu in September. I started saying that last year in September. And I thought we'd get it September this year. I was 16 days off. This maybe is a coincidence that it's come back just after September 2024 in time to spread over to the US for the elections. They're bringing masks back. coming out. I don't know if that's a coincidence, a conspiracy theory, or not. I just know that I was calling since September last year. It's pretty interesting. The strain has reached every continent except Australia, Oceania, but that is expected to change as the warmer months bring wild bird migration. Health and Aged Care Minister Mark Butler said there is no room for complacency regarding human infections. He said the interim Australian Centre for Disease Control was focused on ensuring Australia was prepared as possible. Australia cannot stop deadly bird flu, Minister warns the United Nations. Yeah. GFY. Real quick shout out to the Bitcoin dentist here. He got some of the Bitcoin double smoked beef jerky. We truly do make the best jerky. It's no bull.
Here's a taste test.
And if you don't mind entertaining me for a moment, it's only shipping Australia-wide, but if you are a meat eater in Australia, I promise you it's the best jerky. And Daniel didn't ask him to make this video. It's unscripted. He sent it. It appeared in my feed this morning. Let's go.
Here's a taste test. I'll be honest here.
A good man.
Smells good. I got the barbecue one. Lots of flavour. Lots of flavour.
I'll skip through so we don't watch the whole 1.5 minutes.
You see the detail on it? It's very good. It's very good quality.
It is. It is a very good quality. So if you're a meat eater, rarejerk.com.au, Australia's best beef jerky, I guarantee it. The original jerk, it's keto carnivore friendly. Dad's barbecue, heaps of flavor. It does have a couple of chili flakes. The double smoke is divine. And we have improved even more on the Dad's barbecue since then. And it's just absolutely ace. I've actually sent out, Daniel didn't know, but I sent me out a bag of the new Dad's barbecue as well, heading his way. But Bitcoin, let's get back to the signal. Block height, 865,664 sats per USD. They are below 1,600, 1,520. The exchange rate, 65,870. Market cap, $1.3 trillion. Last block a little while ago. 22 minutes, 46 seconds. Now, yesterday we talked about UTXO management. It's something really not to screw around with. The fees, you know, on a high day, at the moment they're 29 any times 4. If you can get them at any time with 4, please do some UTXO management. The fees are going to keep going up. And if you've got your UTX spread, if you've got your coin spread over many UTXOs, you want to consolidate them. So when you are moving it, you're not paying an extraordinary amount of fees. It's not very hard to do. If you need help, reach out to the Bitcoin Way or watch a YouTube tutorial, BTC sessions. I'm sure he'll have some on UTXO management. There's priority. It's 30. It's continuing to go up. It's not going to stay elevated, but there will be a period of time. And that may be coming upon us very shortly, where we don't have this anytime 4. If you want to move in a timely manner. Average block time, it's run a little bit slow, 10 minutes and 8 seconds. The hash rate, it's up 8% last 24 hours, down over the last 7 days. 14 days, about sideways as well, 30. About sideways, 90 days, about sideways action. Difficulty adjustment went up 6 days ago. Next difficulty adjustment looks like it'll come down 1.34%. Public reachable nodes. Run a node. Be your own bank. Be a sovereign individual. Barack Obama calls Bitcoin, it's like having a Swiss bank account in your pocket. Yes, it is. It's absolutely amazing if you run your own node. If you're not running your own node, you're not your own bank. You're not your own Swiss bank account. But by running a node, you're making the Bitcoin network even stronger. There's less than 19,000. 6 of you, get on there. If you can push it up above it, they're very cheap to be able to run, and you can be certain that those coins are there. You don't need to trust, you can verify for yourself. Now, Galaxy HQ, they released a presidential candidate scorecard for crypto policy. Trump Vance come out on top, but Harris is still deemed more favorable than Biden. You can see the two columns here on the right is Harris versus Biden, who is better, and then Trump versus Harris. It's so hard to read. I'm just going to repost it for everyone. Check this out. And get rid of that capital H there. And look through it. As you can sort of see it's a little bit blurry. But Trump versus Harris. Trump's better across the board. Harris is coming out with a talk later today with her crypto policies, and I think there's some absurd things in there. We'll cover that after I have a bit more time to be able to go through it. But at the end of the day, no politician's going to save you when it comes to your life, your finances, your wealth, your health. 100%, unfortunately, it is on you. You need to take 100% self-responsibility. That can seem a little bit scary, but definitely it is empowering when you get used to it and realize Bitcoin and self-custody, they're not going to save me. It doesn't matter who gets in there, whether it's Trump or Harris. They're both going to print an extraordinary amount of money. If your Bitcoin's in self-custody, you're going to benefit. If it's on the exchange, probably not. They're going to go bust like they always do. So Patrick, we'll have him later on the show as well. So make sure you do hit subscribe for that. Publicly listed Samara AG, we're issuing up to $30 million, 30 million pounds in bonds to invest in innovative tech through managers and builders and to increase our Bitcoin treasury. We are forever hodlers and believe technology best drives humanity forward. Could not agree more. So Australia, they want to give out free lunch. There is no free lunch. They want to give this to school kids. This is about getting votes. They are getting desperate. And when the government's selling us anything for free, again, they're not here to save us. This free lunch, it's going to cost $1 billion to the taxpayer. I think if they lower taxes, then families can just put more nutritious snacks in their kids' lunchbox instead of it having to come from the States. Best snack, beef jerky, 100%. They're original, keto, carnivore friendly. But they're sick. All of them are absolutely sick. They just can't stop money spending. And Anthony Albanese, he's the Prime Minister, of the circus over here in Australia, has written to all state premiers for their recommendation on what age should social media be restricted by the end of this week. It shouldn't. Again, 100% self-responsibility for the family members, for the parents of these children. Legislation on social media ban for teenagers will likely be introduced at the next sitting period, which begins 4th November. Debate on the disinformation bill resumes on this date as well. These clowns, thanks Satoshi, we have Bitcoin, we can just opt out. Yes, the price has gone up a little bit. It's still cheap. Fiat is going to crash continually forever. Hopefully we get a bit more of a pullback, but we did break above $64,000 with conviction. That's the news with the fast facts. If you're hanging around for a bit of a Bitcoin banter, welcome, g'day. If you're heading off, make sure you do hit subscribe. If we vibe, they've got some really cool people coming on, and Scott on Friday, the CIO of the Motley Fool, Sean Harris coming on, and we have Patrick Lowry coming on from Samara AG in the next week or two as well. Now, shout out to everyone that is tuning in, all the legends in the chat. Habib, good to see you this morning. I like the new intro song. Let us know what you think. Is it going to be a little bit too much if I played that every day? If you're not watching the replay, you can obviously just triple tap and get past it. Howdy, howdy. Hit the like button. Do something. Do anything. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you this morning. Retro Beaver, McLovin in the house. G'day, legends. G'day, OGs. VT Gothic, good to see you this morning. Strew, Stack Sats, and Chill. Dead petrodollar, upcoming BRICS, and the out-of-control inflation is reason enough to hold Bitcoin 100%. We do have Bitcoin Mate chiming in. MicroStrategy is tanking. Bitcoin will follow, unfortunately. What's everyone else's thoughts on that? Because MicroStrategy was pumping while Bitcoin was doing nothing. Why suddenly have they become coupled if they've been uncoupled for the last little while? 3 billion, that's pocket change for them, 100%. It will. What's up, Andrew C in the house? I don't think Bitcoin is going to 5K, but I've ridden the roller coaster below 5K before. If it comes again, it won't bother me to do so, me either. Like, it would literally be absolutely incredible. It'd be the greatest opportunity. I don't think it's coming. I'd love it to. G'day from Austria, Jurgen. Good to see you this morning. Gladly stuck some $5,000 Bitcoin sats. Retro Beaver, JP Morgan, 40 billion in fines since 2020. 5K Bitcoin is a dream. It's the dream. Cost of doing business. Please never report a quote Kiyosaki. He's an idiot for real. Yeah, good and bad. I don't mind Robert Kiyosaki. His book put me on the path to wealth, and it didn't happen day one of reading it, but it's a basic book. It's a basic finance book. Laid out a good foundation for the trajectory of my life over many, many years. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't, but I'll be mindful when I bring him up. For sure. Hola amigos, BB McLovin. It's about making people dependent on government, Marxist doctrine, 100%. Stru, Stack Sats, Cold Card, Pure AU, Beef, F Seed Oils, F Fears, Satoshi is a time traveler who came back to save the world. Bitcoin Beacon 77, what a cool name. Let the light shine forth. So that's news with the fast facts. If you haven't already, hit subscribe if we've got some freaking epic guests coming up, but also it helps YouTube and Dex push Bitcoin content. Bitcoin is still cheap. We are under the all-time high. Maybe we come down a little bit. Maybe we go straight to $69,000. $69,000 now is back in play. We break about $64,000. We've held it with conviction. We'll see what happens over the next 24 hours. If you're in Australia, you eat beef, you're based, you want to try it out, rarejerk.com.au. Let us know. We are shipping today. I'll be going up there tomorrow. So there'll be no live stream tomorrow, at least in the morning. Maybe we'll do one from the restaurant, but I need to catch up with Luke. We've got a whole lot of business to do. We've got something really big happening next week as well with RareJerk. And next week as well is Cheat Code in Sydney. So let us know if you will be there. But Luke and I may do a quick live stream tomorrow from the restaurant where all this is prepared. We'll see. Crazy day tomorrow. But if we've got the opportunity, we'll get in there. Otherwise, I'll be live on Thursday morning again, and then Scott will be Friday. McLovin, stacking Bitcoin helps anyone who holds it and is trying to escape tyranny, 100%. There would be so much buying on the way down to 5K that it is probably impossible for it to drop that low. 100% agree. But just, even if it gets to $58,000, people are going to go crazy in there. What is it, like 44 to about $48,000 was another good level as well. It's so unlikely. If a miracle happened, it came down, it'd be a good time to buy the effing dip. But apart from that, all we need to do is buy, stack, and chill. You've been here, you've made it. Now it's just hodl. Hold on for dear life. Don't let it go. Don't get shaken out. Because I think it's about to rip. Even if we get a couple of pullbacks, fuck, who cares? It's an opportunity to get some cheap sats in the meantime. But I think the rocket's ready to leave. Do with that information as you will. It's your money. It's your choice. Leave it on the exchange. That's up to you. But if it was me, I'd be getting it off, protecting it with dear life. Because things are about to get hectic. Anyway, we'll potentially see you tomorrow, but I will see you on Thursday. Have a very beautiful day. Please do something nice for yourself today, whether that's buying, stacking and chilling, taking a moment to be able to breathe, get some sun, get some sand, have some sex, stack some sats, eat some steak, and then go out and do something nice for somebody else out there. Maybe it's sharing the orange pill. There's a lot of people suffering from inflation. It's going to get a whole lot worse. Here in Australia, around the world, we have an option. Sharing Bitcoin is a good thing. We'll see you in the next couple of days. Peace.
Everything seemed normal. Successful businesses were functioning as they usually should. Money was being placed in the bank as savings. Life was good. Nobody notices anything funny. But 2008 hits and all hell breaks loose. Everything we thought about money and the banking was a complete lie, a complete sham, a Ponzi, a scam. The whole world fell apart and a lot of people got hurt financially. And as a result of this, the Bitcoin white paper was born. but yet the same mistakes keep happening over and over again. People are leaving money on their institutions up until the last straw, FTX, when billions of dollars were lost, families were decimated, life savings were completely wiped, and people were wondering what on earth just happened. We have an option to take full custody of our funds, and that's Bitcoin. We just have to learn the process. It's not hard. It's just something we've never had to do before. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep repeating themselves, and people are going to continue to get hurt over and over and over until they learn you need to exit the system in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones.